You look at the standings this morning, and it's staring right back at you. It almost doesn't look real.
Right.
6 wins in a row, undefeated in Big Ten play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were just a casual observer checking the box scores on your phone, you might think, okay, business as usual for Iowa, machine keeps rolling.
The train keeps moving.
But if you actually sit down and watch the tape, if you watch the way they are moving on the court, this is something completely different.
It is entirely different. It's almost a different sport compared to what we've seen in Iowa City for the last, 4 years?
Totally.
And frankly, it's exactly what you want to see. We aren't watching a team that is just, coasting on superior talent or shooting the lights out from the logo.
No.
We are watching a team that is grinding out results in the mud. And this latest win, this wasn't a warm-up game against a directional school. This was a statement.
Exactly. Kind of ugly takedown of Michigan State.
And let's be clear right off the bat, this wasn't some mid-major tune-up game where the starters sit the fourth quarter. We're talking about a Michigan State team that walked into this game sitting at 17-1.
Right. And we need to sit with that context for a second. 17-1 is a formidable record in any conference, let alone the Big Ten. This is a genuinely very, very good basketball team.
It really is.
I think sometimes, especially in the current landscape of women's college basketball, we get desensitized to win margins. You look around the country, you see South Carolina beating Coppin State by 42 points.
Yeah.
And honestly, that felt like a close game compared to some of the 80-point blowouts we see in the non-conference.
It warps your perception, doesn't it?
It does.
You start expecting dominance to look like a 40-point margin, and if it's anything less, you think something is wrong.
Precisely. We've been conditioned to think good equals blowout. But this game, this was a reality check. This was a grinded-out physical battle against a team that knows how to win. Iowa didn't blow them out of the building with flashy shooting. They had to get in the trenches. And that's what makes this specific win so fascinating for the post-Caitlin Clark era.
It brings up the core question we want to tackle today. Can this new version of Iowa, this physical, double big, smash mouth style, actually maintain dominance against top-tier talent?
That's the question.
Because beating up on the bottom of the conference is one thing. Taking down a 17-1 team is another animal entirely.
It really is. And to answer that, we aren't just looking at the final score. We need to unpack the evolution of specific players. We saw things from Hannah Stewart that I think redefined her draft stock.
Oh, for sure.
We saw a defensive masterclass from a sophomore that I'm still thinking about. And we saw a freshman finally look like she belongs on this stage.
So let's get into it. Let's unpack the context first. You mentioned Michigan State being 17-1. That's not a record you get by accident. What makes them such a tough out?
Well, entering this game, Michigan State had established themselves as the legitimate threat to win the conference. They aren't a team you just walk over.
Right.
When you play a team with only one loss this deep into the season, you are playing a team with discipline, with chemistry, and with high-end talent. They have WNBA prospects on that roster.
100%.
And for Iowa to be undefeated in conference play while transitioning away from a generational talent,
Yeah.
that is significant.
It feels like everyone outside the program and maybe some inside it was waiting for the drop-off, the hangover year.
Of course.
But here they are, perfect in the conference. But I want to stick on that phrase I used in the intro, smash mouth, because I was watching the second quarter and there was this sequence where 3 bodies hit the floor for a loose ball, elbows were flying, and I realized this doesn't look like the Iowa of the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It looked like Big Ten football.
It's a completely different sensory experience, isn't it?
It is.
You used to hear the swish of the net, now you hear the thud of bodies in the paint.
Exactly. And for the listener who maybe missed the game, we aren't using smash mouth as a euphemism for bad offense. Although, okay, sometimes it's not pretty.
Laughs. It's a tough watch sometimes, for sure.
But it looks intentional.
Oh, it's entirely intentional. This is the double big philosophy weaponized. When you have Stuelke and Hayden on the floor together, you aren't trying to outsprint Michigan State.
Yeah.
You're trying to bruise them. You're trying to make them feel the weight of every single possession. It's attrition warfare. You're betting that by the fourth quarter, their legs are going to be too heavy to hit those jump shots because they've been wrestling in the post for 30 minutes.
So the strategy shifts from we're going to score faster than you to we're going to beat you up physically until you fold.
That's the essence of it.
Yeah.
And it requires the listener and the fan to shift their expectations. You have to move away from expecting flashy and start appreciating effective.
Yeah.
Because against a team like Michigan State, flashy might get you a few highlight reels, but effective gets you the win.
It's interesting you say that because I think a lot of fans struggle with that transition. We got addicted to the dopamine hit of the logo 3.
We all did.
This feels more like eating your vegetable.
It is absolutely the vegetable course. But here's the thing. Vegetables make you strong.
That's a great way to put it.
And if you want to win in March, when the game slows down and the whistles get swallowed by the refs, you need to know how to win ugly. This game was proof of concept that Iowa can win ugly against elite competition.
And speaking of winning ugly, or maybe winning effectively, let's talk about the anchor of this new identity, Hannah Stuelke. Her stat line in this game was, well, it was loud.
It was incredibly loud. 22 points, 9 rebounds. She was a force.
Yeah.
But if you look past the scoring, the stat line that actually scares the rest of the Big Ten,
It's a 5 assists.
the 5 assists.
See, that's where I pause, because 5 assists is great, but are we overreacting to a small sample size? Or did you see something in how she was passing that suggests this is a permanent evolution?
That is the right question to ask. It wasn't just kicking the ball out because she was panicked or double teamed.
Right.
I went back and watched the tape on 3 of those assists. She was catching the ball at the high post, facing up, and reading the defense like a quarterback. She was manipulating the help side defender with her eyes, holding them for just a split second, and then whipping it past to a cutter.
So she's not just a finisher anymore, she's functioning as a hub.
Precisely. She's utilizing the gravity she has as a scorer to warp the defense and then punishing them for collapsing on her. That is the difference between a college star and a pro prospect.
And in previous seasons.
In previous seasons, we didn't necessarily see or need to see that playmaking ability.
Let's dig into that shift, because in the past, Stuelke had huge games. I remember her dropping 40-plus points. She was incredible against UConn in the Final Four. But that felt different, didn't it?
It was very different. In the past, those 40-point games were often a product of the system. She was feeding off the gravity of Caitlin Clark. She was running the floor, catching perfect passes in stride, and finishing at the rim. She was the beneficiary of elite playmaking. This performance, this was different because she created it herself.
She wasn't just finishing plays, she was initiating the offense.
Exactly. She was making moves in the post. There was a specific moment where she hit a post fadeaway that just screamed confidence. That isn't a running catch bucket.
No.
That is a give me the ball, get out of my way on a work bucket.
Yeah. And when she plays like that, with that level of aggression and confidence, what does that do for her future? We always hear chatter about the WNBA draft. Does a game like this actually move the needle for scouts?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you're looking at draft stock, this version of Stuelke is fascinating. When she plays with this specific confidence, she looks like a round 1.5 pick.
Break that down for us. Round 1.5, what does that mean?
So she's right on that bubble between a late first round and an early second round selection.
Yeah.
But here's the key comparison. Think of a player like Raven Johnson from South Carolina. She's someone who, if you draft her, you know exactly what you're getting. You know she is going to make the roster because she has a translatable skill set. It's a safe, smart pick. Stuelke is becoming that.
She's becoming undeniable.
Right. At the pro level, she projects as a small ball sprinting 5.
Yeah.
She has the speed to run the floor, which is her elite trait. She runs the floor better than almost any big in the country.
No question.
But now she's showing the physicality and the playmaking to survive in the half court. If she can consistently give you 22, 9, and 5 assists against a top-tier team, she's going to be on a WNBA roster, period.
And it wasn't like she was doing this against a slouch either. Though, interestingly, she didn't match up against Michigan State's biggest star for most of the night.
No, and that was a strategic wrinkle that I loved. She matched up largely against Sotelo, and she absolutely outplayed her. It wasn't even close.
Wow.
But the fact that she dominated her individual matchup allowed the rest of the defense to function. It meant she didn't need help, which allowed the other defenders to stay home.
Which brings us to the other side of the ball. Because while Stuelke was handling business on offense, there was a defensive assignment that I think defines this game. Ava Hayden.
Ava Hayden. Oh my gosh. If you want to understand Smash Mouth, you watch Ava Hayden in this game. She was tasked with guarding Grace Van Sluten.
And for those who might not follow every roster in the Big Ten, or maybe only know the household names, who is Grace Van Sluten? Why is this such a big deal?
Grace Van Sluten is a legitimate problem. She's a Team USA starter. She is projected to be a second-round WNBA pick. We are not talking about a rotational college player.
No.
We are talking about a high-caliber future pro who is the best player on a 17-1 team. That is a Heavy assignment for a sophomore center.
You'd expect a young player to just try and contain her. Maybe hope she has an off night, just survive the minutes.
Right.
But Hayden didn't just survive that matchup.
She dominated it, and I don't use that word lightly. She completely shut her down. It was a defensive masterclass.
Late in the fourth quarter, when the game is on the line and Michigan State needs a bucket.
Hayden had 2 massive blocks.
There's that one specific visual, I think I replayed it 3 times. Van Sluten goes up strong, and Hayden just meets her at the apex.
Swatted it,
Yeah.
and the ball just bounced off Van Sluten. It was emphatic. It was a statement.
It really was.
And the ultimate compliment to her defense was the adjustment Michigan State had to make. They eventually had to switch Van Sluten off of Hayden.
Wait, think about that. You force the opponent to rearrange their entire offensive scheme because your sophomore center is locking down their star.
It is incredible respect. They literally could not run their offense through their best player because Hayden was winning the battle so decisively. They had to hunt for a mismatch elsewhere because Hayden wasn't giving an inch.
That's incredible. And it wasn't just the blocks, it's the energy. There was a play that I think encapsulates her entire night. She went 8 of 13 from the floor, which is efficient, but there was a miss that stood out to me more than the makes.
The miss that wasn't. I know exactly the play you mean.
Walk us through it.
So she goes up strong in the paint. She technically misses the shot, it rolls off. In a normal game, maybe the player hangs their head for a split second or jogs back on defense.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Hayden didn't blink. She just suckered through the contact. She stayed with the play, clipped the rim, caused chaos in the rebound scrum, and the ball clinks down and leads to a steal by Stuhlke.
It's the relentless effort.
Exactly. Even when the shot didn't fall, her physical presence created a turnover. That is the definition of the double big grind.
It is.
You might miss, but you are going to make the opponent feel every single possession. You are going to make them work for every inch of hardwood.
It's exhausting to play against. I got tired just watching them fight for position. And while the veterans and the sophomores were locking it down, we saw something else that I think has Iowa fans breathing a sigh of relief.
A huge sigh of relief.
Maybe the biggest sigh of relief of the season. The freshman, Addie Deal.
Finally. This felt like the figuring it out moment.
Let's talk about the freshman Addie Deal. Because if you've been on the message boards or Twitter for the last month, the temperature on her has been volatile.
Volatile is putting it kindly.
But I think we need to contextualize why. You mentioned in the notes that the transition from high school to Iowa right now is harder than going pro. That sounds like hyperbole. Convince me it's not.
Okay, think about the environment. If you get drafted to the WNBA, you're usually going to a team that struggles, or you're a role player on a veteran squad. Nobody expects you to save the franchise on day one.
Right.
But at Iowa, in the post-Caitlin Clark vacuum,
everyone is looking for the savior.
they are looking for the next messiah. Every turnover is scrutinized. Every missed defensive rotation is a referendum on your recruitment. And Addie Deal looked lost in the preseason.
Oh, she did.
She looked like the game was moving at 100 miles per hour and she was driving a golf cart.
I remember watching that D2 exhibition game. She hesitated on open shots. She was overpassing. It looked like paralysis by analysis.
Totally. Which is why this Michigan State game is such a revelation. It wasn't just that the shots went in.
Although those were huge.
Yeah, they were massive shots. She went 2 for 2 from deep.
Yeah.
But it was the speed of her decision making. The hesitation was gone.
It's that confidence to just let it fly.
It is. And it reminds me a lot of the trajectory we saw with Ava Hayden last year. You struggle early, you look a little lost, and then suddenly the speed of the game slows down for you. You stop thinking and start playing.
It must be so satisfying for the coaching staff and the fans to see a player step up when the lights are brightest against a 17-1 team.
It's huge, because what we are seeing now is the emergence of a future starter. I truly believe that by year 2 or year 3, Addie Deal is a locked-in starter for this program.
What does that mean for the current rotation, though? If she's rising, someone else's minutes have to take a hit. It's basic math.
Well, we're already seeing it. Stremlo's minutes are trending down. It's a zero-sum game. If Deal provides that spacing and that scoring punch, she is going to eat into those minutes. You play the hot hand, and right now, Deal is heating up.
Let's talk about the rest of the rotation, because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. We have to talk about the guard play.
Right. You have Lucy Olson, chit-chat. She's become that steady presence, 11 points. She's part of what people are calling the big 2.5 or the big 3. She gives you a floor. You know what you're getting.
But then you have Taylor McCabe, and this felt like a frustrating night for her. I found myself yelling at the TV a couple of times.
It was a very frustrating night, and you could feel it watching the game. She had, realistically, 100 chances to ice this game.
Just open looks that didn't fall, or was it something else?
It was a mix, but the concerning part was how many of her shots were contested at the release point. She finished with 9 points, but it took her 12 field goal attempts to get there.
Ooh.
That is not efficient.
And there was a specific issue happening with her shot rate. I saw her get blocked on a jumper, which is rare for a shooter of her caliber.
She was getting swatted. She was getting blocked on jump shots. That is concerning. It speaks to perhaps a release speed issue or just size mismatches against a long, athletic team like Michigan State.
Right.
Michigan State is fast and they are long. If you need a split second longer to get your shot off, they are going to close that gap.
It's annoying to watch because you know she's capable of better. We've seen her light it up. But in this physical smash mouth game, she's struggled to get clean looks.
But and this is the key, the team won anyway.
That is the silver lining. Your designated shooter struggled, she was inefficient, but you found a way to be a 17-1 team.
Yes.
That speaks to the resilience of the rest of the roster.
It proves they aren't one-dimensional. If the threes aren't falling, they can bludgeon you inside. That's a hallmark of a good team.
Let's look ahead a bit. We're talking Adil rising, McCabe's struggling. How does this lineup evolve? Because there is a fascinating little nugget in the source material about a hypothetical transfer that has the message boards buzzing.
Oh, this is the juicy part. There's speculation, and again, the stress this is hypothetical, we are just reading the tea leaves here, about Addie Brown potentially transferring from Iowa State.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If that happens, and I know, big if, what does this roster look like next year?
It becomes terrifying. Just do the mental geometry with me. If you bring in Addie Brown, you slot her at the 4.
Okay.
You keep Hayden at the 5 as your defensive anchor.
Yeah.
You have Olsen running the point at the 1.
And then
you have this absolute battle royale for the 2-guard spot.
between Deal, Stremlo, and McCabe.
Exactly. You let them fight it out in practice. Whichever one wins, starts. And the others provide elite depth off the bench.
Wow.
You'd have Hayes as a backup center, Journey Houston in the mix.
Yeah.
That is a legitimate contender. That is a deep, versatile roster.
It's a good-looking team.
Yeah.
A really good-looking team. But even without the transfer portal speculation, just looking at what they have right now, Deal figuring it out, Hayden becoming a defensive monster, the future is bright.
It is. But I want to circle back to something you touched on earlier, the savior complex, the pressure. We talked about Addie Deal handling it, but let's unpack the psychology of this fan base, because it is unique.
It is a pressure cooker. There are very few environments in women's college basketball that compare.
You have to look at professional comparisons to really get it. The source material compared it to the Lakers, or the Indiana Fever now with Clark, or, interestingly, Premier League soccer.
Specifically, Leeds United. And as a casual soccer fan, that comparison made me laugh, but it also made perfect sense.
It's spot on. There's a great analogy here involving Brendan Aronson.
For our listeners who don't follow English soccer, break that down. Why Leeds and why Aronson?
So, Leeds United fans are passionate,
Yeah.
intense,
To put it mildly.
to put it mildly. Brendan Aronson plays for them. For a long time, he was hated. The fans turned on him because the team was struggling and he wasn't producing. He actually left the team, went out on loan, tried to get out permanently.
It was done. Bridge burned.
Bridge incinerated. But he ended up coming back. And he put his head down, he worked, and he started performing, and now he's getting standing ovations walking off the pitch.
So the lesson is, fans are fickle.
Incredibly fickle. They can turn on you in a heartbeat if you play poorly. But, and this is the crucial part for players like Addie Deal or Taylor McCabe, if you step up, if you show that grit, if you dive for that loose ball, they will embrace you instantly.
It's a double-edged sword. They love you hard, but they critique you hard.
It is. But it forces you to grow up fast. That's why I was so impressed with Addie Deal in this game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the 2 3-pointers.
Right.
It was hitting those shots knowing that thousands of people have been analyzing her struggles for weeks. Handling that mental pressure is just as impressive as the physical act of shooting the ball.
It really puts into perspective what these young athletes are dealing with. It's not just basketball. It's basketball in a fishbowl.
Exactly. And that environment is what forges championship DNA. If you can survive the Iowa spotlight, you can play anywhere.
So let's bring this all back to the big picture. We started with the question, can this team maintain dominance? Can this smash mouth style work long term?
And I think the answer is yes, but it's going to look different. It's not going to be the high-flying circus we saw with Clark.
It's going to be
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be smash mouth. But look at what they just did. They proved they could win ugly against elite competition. They took a 17-1 Michigan State team, a team with WNBA talent, and they ground them down.
The big 3 or big 2.5 is solidifying, but it feels like the story is shifting.
The story shifting to the defense and the youth. Hannah is the anchor, yes. But Ava Heiden's emergence as a defensive stopper who could erase a Team USA starter, that changes the ceiling of this team.
Right.
That raises the defensive ceiling into the stratosphere. And Addie Deal providing offensive sparks, that raises the floor.
It makes you wonder if they can do this while the offense is still kind of clunky. I mean, we talked about McCabe struggling. We talked about the tough watch, what happens when it actually clicks.
That's the scary part for the rest of the Big Ten. What is the ceiling for this team once the offense catches up to the defense? We might be underrating them simply because they aren't winning by 40 points like South Carolina.
We're looking for style points, and they're just putting up W's.
Precisely. And in March, nobody asks how pretty the win was. They don't ask about your field goal percentage or if you hit shots from the logo. They just ask if you advanced.
That is a great point. Before we sign off, what's the one thing listeners should go look up from this game if they have 5 minutes to watch highlights?
Go watch the defensive replays of Ava Heiden, specifically those blocks in the fourth quarter on Van Sluten. It's not just a highlight. It's a clinic on verticality and timing.
Yeah.
It tells you everything you need to know about where this Iowa defense is headed. It's the visual definition of smash mouth.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to rewatch that sequence.